Hey, what's up, Improvement Warrior? Jason Young back with you again. Hope you're having a fabulous day. This is Improvement Warrior Podcast, episode number 18. We're going to go over my daily health habits. So it should be pretty interesting here, but what's new in my life? So is recording this, it is February 17th, and I am about to head off to Florida in 2 days. Going down to Orlando. I will be 1 day in Disney World, unfortunately, and a couple days on the beach. So I'm sure I'll do a couple videos, at least workout videos and some podcasts down there, and you'll hear all about it. So yesterday was my first 1,000 IU session of vitamin D. Yesterday I got 1,500 working out outside. It was, I think, 55 degrees in February in Ohio, which is very, very nice stuff. But yeah, so let's get into this. So I will go over my health habits, and I started this as a blog, but it's not finished, so I will finish it once I finish the podcast and then link it up as well for you. But if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to Improvement Warrior Podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and rate the podcast. 5 stars is appreciated, but that helps us get out to other people who are looking for life-changing information. As you know, I have changed my way of living quite dramatically over the past 3+ years, due in part to Dr. Jack Kruse and his mitochondriac tribe. And basically, a lot of this stuff comes from him. I thought I was healthy before, but I learned once you start doing things and you start feeling better, you learn how bad you actually felt. So I always would say 4 or 5 years ago, or more than that, I would have said my health was a 9 or a 10 every single day. Now looking back, it was probably just a 5 to a 6 to maybe 6.5 at the tops. So complete change, and that's what you need to do. You need to focus on the change. If you're going to do the same things over and over again, expecting different results, that is basically Einstein's definition of insanity. And yeah, there is a lot of insane people out there. There's a lot of ask holes out there who will ask you questions, and they will do nothing with the information because the information is not what they want to hear. They want to have the latest supplement. They want to have the latest pill. They want to have just the easiest way to do everything because everybody wants everything to be comfortable. But if you're going to be healthy in this world, you've got to get out of your comfort zone, and that's what we got to do. That's what I'm here to help you with. So show notes for this one will be improvementwarriorfitness.com/healthy habits. This is podcast number 18. Here we go. All right, so a day in the life of healthy habits. So the first thing that I do, and I'll try and, if you're watching the video, I'll try and put pictures up of this as well as I go, and maybe some cutaway screens. But otherwise, it's pretty easy to imagine what I'm doing based on the description. But the first thing that I always do after going to the bathroom and taking off my mouth tape is I will drink water. I drink about 14 to 20 ounces on that first gulp, and actually it'll be 14 to 20 ounces, and then it'll be up to 35 ounces during the first 2 to 3 hours of the day. So you want to hydrate as soon as you wake up, because that should be the longest time you have gone without water. I always go outside when I am drinking this to get a cold effect. Again, it's February as I'm recording this, but I will go outside in the summer as well, just to get that fresh air. And yeah, so the fresh air is always better than the indoor air. Well, not always, it depends where you live and all that. So context always needed for health and the recommendations that I recommend and everything. So the light that we have there is an amber incandescent, and then we also have an infrared flood light. But those lights are usually off unless my dogs are out with me. Blue blockers are on, since this is usually before I get up, usually before the sunrise, especially now in the colder months. But seeing the blue light before sunrise, that will really jack your cortisol up. So the first thing I do when I do wake up is I grab my blue blockers before I even turn off alarms or anything like that. So blue blockers, very important. Number 2, next up is my morning sun or sunrise. So getting the sunrise is absolutely vital to your health, vital to your circadian biology. Circadian biology is the number 1 factor for your health, and sunlight is the number 1 factor for circadian biology. So I go over that in the 14 Pillars of Health webinar, which I'll link up in the show notes. And the sunrise it depends on how sunny or cloudy it will be, and that will determine how fast I'll get to my spot, where I basically take off everything except for my kaniki, and in the winter it'll be I'll be having a hat on and winter gloves. Kaniki is a tan-through bathing suit, so sun your balls, sun your genitals, ladies. It's one of the top cancer prevention biohacks for breast cancer and prostate cancer and all types of cancer. I'll put the kaniki in the show notes as well. And yeah, so it will depend. So today it's been raining all day. It took them, I think, 80 to 90 minutes for them to turn off the street lights. So it was basically, I was from my porch just in and out 2 to 5 minutes to 10 minutes, just looking at the sky, looking at where the sun should be and all that. Yeah, so when it's cloudy, they'll keep the street light on. It's toxic blue light. I don't want to be exposed to that. I hide behind a pillar wearing blue blockers, and then I'll just point my blue blockers down and look over at where the sun should be. So right now in February, sunrise is happening at around 7:20. So and my wife takes the kids to school at 7:45, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Monday and Fridays if the bus comes and get them. But that's right on the cusp of basically I can't leave for my sun spot until they leave. So, but that changes throughout the year. So obviously these things are dependent seasonally and all that stuff. So you have to be willing to change on a seasonal basis, because if you do the same things year round, you're doing it wrong. And that especially comes to sunrise or seeing the sun, because it's going to change by up to 2 hours here at the 40th latitude. And food is another thing that's going to change big time throughout the year as well. Okay. So if I am on the porch, and I'll typically take the kids in and out as well, I will go in and out of red light, which I have up here on one of the points as later as well. And once I do get to my spot, which is about 500 steps away, typically in the winter, it'll be 10 to 12 minutes I'll stay there, and the warmer months, it'll be up to 20 minutes, just all depending. Point number 3, when I come back home, I do whatever basically needs to be done for about 15 to 30 minutes, and then I go on my cold thermogenesis walk with my dogs. Occasionally, if the kids are home, so if it's a weekend, I will take them as well. And I always am shooting for the 10,000 step mark per day. I average probably about 11,500, somewhere around there. Walking for somebody who does have a disease, and especially somebody who's overweight, leptin resistant, walking is the best exercise you can do when it's outside and without your glasses, without your sunglasses, without your contacts, and with as much skin showing as possible. So if you're following the leptin prescription, I'll hook up the leptin reset webinars in the show notes. If you are doing the leptin prescription, it is recommended for at least the first 6 weeks that you do not work out, doing a typical workout. So sometimes I break this with clients, but typically the workouts I do not want them doing at all would be like a CrossFit or a boot camp or a HIIT, high intensity interval training type thing. I try to keep if somebody is going to break that rule, I will tell a client, hey, this is what I think you should do, and this is what I recommend. But a lot of people are coming to me because they're in that mindset, hey, I got to work out, and hey, I got to go on a diet. Okay? Two things that are absolutely that could possibly mess you up for the future you. Okay? And it's all about the future you. So we don't want the older us to be fucked up, which a lot of the things that modern corporations want you to do will fuck you up. My cold thermogenesis walk, I do this because during morning sun and especially sunrise, there is no ultraviolet UV light present. You'll have blue and red light from the sun, and that's one of the ways that it helps wake us up and sets us up for the proper release of certain hormones that we need, as long as we didn't ruin that process by staring at blue light before the sunrise. So again, first thing I do, I grab those blue blockers even before I turn off my alarms. After about 45 to 75 minutes is when I will get that cold thermogenesis walk. So that's usually when UV light will show up. It will depend on your season and also your latitude. So that's when UVA, ultraviolet A light, will show up. After sunrise and sunset, this is the most important sun to be in. So sunset will also have 0 UV. That's when you can stare directly at the sun, and that will actually help your eyes if you have myopia, to help strengthen them and all that. But if it's too powerful for you even to look at the sunrise and even to look at the sunset, then just look about 15 degrees to the right or 15 degrees to the left, and then just keep moving closer to the sun until your eyes strengthen. So it is a muscle. It's just like working up to a heavy squat. So you're not going to go into the gym and squat 300 pounds right off the bat. Okay? You got to work up to it. You got to get the bar, and then you got to add a little bit weight here, a little bit weight here. So just keep improving and keep adding. Okay? Same thing with the sun. All right. So UVA light is going to help turn off certain hormones. So sunrise is going to turn them on, and then UVA is basically the brake, telling you to stop the production of this or turn on another production of this. Okay. UVA is going to help you create melatonin, serotonin, dopamine, POMC, beta endorphins, nitric oxide, and on and on and on. Okay. However, sunrise is the precursor to UVA light, so you do not want to miss that. Even if it's just 1 minute, but get as much as you can. So there's somebody, texted me or Facebooked me just saying that she cannot get the sunrise because of her work schedule. And I asked her, do they allow breaks? Okay, because even 1 to 3 minutes is better than 0 minutes sitting under blue light, sitting under Wi-Fi, and getting just basically destroy. Okay. Now, my cold thermogenesis walk obviously doesn't turn into a cold thermogenesis walk in the summer, and it's much more enjoyable in the summer. All right, number 4. Once I come home from my shirtless walk, it's now time for, well, this changes throughout the day, so sometimes I didn't do this today because my walk was, I think, almost 90, 100 minutes after the original sunrise. But red light therapy is what I do. I usually only do this 4 to 5 times a week in the warmer months, and I do shoot for it every day in the colder months, as the sun is a lot weaker. I will do anywhere from 3 to 20 minutes a day. And I like to actually read or create my memes while doing it, but sometimes I'll be cooking or brushing my teeth or drinking tea. Cooking is, if I'm doing red light therapy when I'm cooking, it is because I forgot to do it in the morning, or I didn't have time to do it in the morning. But basically, I'll just set it up where I'm going to be the most, and then basically just walking back and forth and cutting up whatever, and meat and vegetables and all that stuff, and just getting my red light through there. There's basically no rules to red light therapy. You just typically, you want to do it during the day when the sun is out. So same thing applies to nutrition. Sun is out, kitchen's open. Sun not out, kitchen closed. Same thing for red light, because our circadian biology basically knows when it needs to have light when light's out, it needs to have darkness. Okay? Yin and yang, light and dark. Okay, and they just turned on the street lights there, so I'm going to be switching blue blockers here. Still raining all day. So go from the Swannies to the Midwestern light therapy. And I did lose a pair, or I thought I lost a pair of these, and apparently it was just my son hiding them. So I now have 2 pairs because I found them both. But with red light, so the areas I usually do are going to be my face and eyes. I will look directly at the red light panel. Somebody asked me if you need glasses to look at the blue blocking glasses. No, you don't. So the red light will get through the blue blocking glasses. My face, my balls, my stomach, and then anywhere I have pain or tightness. So I will do my ankles a lot, and my foot, the inside of my foot mostly. I did have plantar fasciitis in both feet, but I got rid of that through mobilizations, and it really started to go away once I started doing as much grounding as I do now. Remember, any type of pain that you have in any area, typically you have inflammation, obviously, and you've got a lack of electrons, and we need to get those electrons back. Okay, but red light benefits, just some, not all. So increasing your energy levels by promoting the release of ATP from the cell's mitochondria, stimulating DNA, RNA synthesis, activating the lymphatic system, an important part of our immune system that helps carry waste out of the body, increasing blood flow, circulation, thereby helping to bring more oxygen and nutrients to our cells and tissues. Remember, all disease and all death is a form of hypoxia or lack of oxygen. Okay? And electrons go through electron chain transport to reduce to oxygen. So if electron chain transport slows down, we're not going to be able to make or get to oxygen as much. Okay, oxygen, very important. So if you haven't watched my breathing webinar, I'll hook it up. It's also one of the podcast episodes. I think it's number 12. But I'll hook that up. Forming new capillaries, which is small blood vessels, improving natural production of collagen and fibroblasts, important for things like skin, joint, and digestive health. And that's also another reason I try to get 10,000 steps per day is if you are inactive and you are just sitting around, your collagen is basically going to turn into gelatin. And That's why a lot of old people, they move so slowly and they move really bad. And if they fall, it's really bad because more than likely they're going to break a hip or break a leg or break some bone in their body. And just moving around, walking around, it's going to strengthen the mitochondria, it's going to strengthen your collagen system and all that stuff. Repairing and restoring damaged soft connective tissue, stimulating or decreasing inflammation, which helps control our natural healing capabilities, and lowering the effects of oxidative stress, free radical damage, which is associated with many effects of aging. So, as you know, I am partnered with Cozy Health, so check them out, cozyhealth.com/Improvement Warrior. Improvement Warriors, all caps. Use code Improvement Warrior, all caps, for 10% off. I'll put that in the show notes as well for you. But yeah, one of the best things for you. And there was a study that came out that I posted that shows that looking or staring at the red light panels can actually reduce or help to eliminate your myopia. Okay, and also the sun can do that as well. Okay. But make sure your eyes are naked. Number 5, and this is one that was going to depend on, it'll change. It's pooping. So healthy poop, it should happen sometime in the morning. So sometimes it's not done in the order I listed here that will be on the blog post. But when we poop, it is part of a healthy circadian rhythm. And it should happen sometime after seeing the sunrise. Okay, so I used to have to poop right away when waking up. And when I was teaching my boot camp classes, sometimes this would be at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, somewhere around there. Now, pretty much the only days is when I have a treat meal or treat day. That's usually the case. When I wake up, I first have to go. It's a big sign if you are waking up and you have to go immediately, or you don't see the sunrise and you have to poop before the sun comes up or before you even look at the sun. That's a big sign your circadian rhythm is off. Okay. The other times that I have to do it is basically when I'm making my nuts. So the process I go through making my nuts is I will cook them in the pressure cooker to get rid of the anti-nutrients. Then I'll dehydrate them for about 24 hours. And typically when they're in that dehydrator, they're nice and warm and they basically taste like crack. And it's one of my big weaknesses is I cannot stop eating them. So I typically eat way too many nuts and they want to come out the next morning. So too much information, but yeah, so make sure you are pooping on schedule. So pooping should be on a circadian clock. Okay? It's okay to poop later in the day as well, but typically we want to have at least 12 inches of poop per day. And also when I'm pooping in the winter, it's also another chance for cold exposure because my bathroom is right next to the window and the sun basically shines through that window. And so it's another chance for sunshine. Always open the window, even if you are, especially if you are in direct sight of the window, in direct sight of the sun. So windows block 100% of the UVB light, approximately 99% of the UVA light. They block 40 to 60% of red light, and they let all of the visible spectrum in. Blue light is included in the visible spectrum. Okay? So sitting by a window is a toxic environment. Okay? So driving with the windows up equals altered spectrum. Anything that alters the spectrum is bad. So that's the Sun Cosmetics webinar. I believe it was part 3 of the circadian biology series. I'll link that up. But always drive with the windows down. So even if it's pouring rain like it is now, I crack it just to just a smidge on both sides. Okay, and if it's cold, typically it'll still be at least a third of the way down. I don't use any heat unless the kids are in the car and they're complaining, but I do have blankets in the car. All right, number 6 is work time, and this will be done periodically throughout the day. Sometimes it'll be done right after the morning water if I'm up early enough and before the sun and before all the kid and family stuff need to get done. But when I'm working in my office, I am always connected to my grounding wrist cord that I got from lessemf.com, which I will hook up for you as well. So it's just connected to a copper wire, and it's basically it's just a snap. It just snaps in, and you can put it on your wherever. So if my daughter's in here watching Peppa Pig, it's too big for her wrist, so I'll wrap it around her ankle. So yeah, it's just connected to a copper wire, and that copper cord goes outside my office window. My computer, my laptop is basically right behind my desktop. So I'm working on my laptop now, having some issues with my desktop, but both of them are connected to a USB grounding cord. That's also from lessemf.com. So the computer is grounded, so it doesn't give off as much EMF. And I tested it with my EMF meter, and basically it wipes out the electrical signals. Pretty awesome. I also have a standing desk, which you can see I am standing. I don't know if you can see, but I'm standing. So anytime I'm in here, I am standing. I don't have a chair in here. And it took me to get to the standing desk, it took me a good 2 years of actually alternating between standing and sitting on a Swiss ball. I sat on a Swiss ball to be able to fully stand and work all day. The Swiss ball is going to basically help you get into a better posture, because if you're sitting in a good shoulders back and all that, your abs are going to be turned on more rather than your ability to sit back and lean back into a chair and just turn all your muscles off and whatnot. So recommend that. Get a standing desk. Ask your boss if they will provide one for you if you are the boss, or you're just working on hobbies or working at home, not even working at home, just playing on your computer, researching stuff, doing social media, whatever you do. Get a standing desk. So sitting is the new smoking. I'll hook up my sitting is the new smoking blog post. But yeah, so it takes time to build up those postural muscles and assistance muscles, but standing properly is much better than sitting properly. So the best way to actually sit is going to be Indian style, or like a half lotus or a lotus position that we get from yoga. I can only get to a half lotus, so have not been able to do the full lotus. All right, but yeah, the standing desk doesn't have to be complicated or anything. So if you actually go to the show notes, you'll see a picture of it, and it's basically just a piece of plastic that goes up and then on top, and then on top goes either your keyboard or your laptop, and then your mouse pad, and then there's a space underneath. So if I do need to write, I can just go down and write underneath it, or I can kneel down and write. It doesn't need to be one of those fancy $500, $100, or $1,000 standing desks. It can be a makeshift one. You can just get some food crates from a local store. You can get some boxes and just have at it. Okay. Okay, and then also in my office, over to the right of me, above the entryway, there is basically a mountain climber training board. So it's just got different hand placement grips, and I will use that for pull-ups periodically throughout the day. I'll sometimes do toes to bar, where I basically just hang on to it and then I bring my toes up to touch the other side of the wall. And then also to my right on the floor, I have a 20 kilogram and a 24 kilogram kettlebell. And I will do swings, jerks, goblet squats throughout the day. And occasionally I'll do push-ups, burpees, and pistols. I've got a PVC pipe over to the side of me as well, and I'll do an assisted pistol throughout the day, which is basically a one-legged squat. But I mean, if you just do one swing, one squat, one jerk, that's a day. That's 30 per month. And that's, I mean, doing that times 365. That's a lot better than 0, okay, which most of America does. So be better than average. Always be better than average. Strive for improvement every single day. All right, number 7, time to train. Okay, so this is another one that gets moved around a lot based on my schedule and the season that we are in. Summer sunrise is around 6 a.m., so I almost never do it then. Sleep is more important than working out. I'll say it again. Sleep is more important than working out. Okay? When I had my gym open in Hilliard, which is about 20 or 25, 30 minutes away from here, I would get at least 1 up to 3 workouts in before 6 a.m. or even 5 a.m. So not the optimal time, but we have to get it in when we can, within reason. Okay, so when I was doing that, I had major issues with my cortisol hormone, which I have since fixed. Okay, and workouts, remember, they don't have to be. It doesn't have to be an hour in a row. It doesn't have to be 45 minutes in a row. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes in a row. You can take it. You can do 1 set of an exercise every hour. Okay, you can do 8 pull-ups every hour. You can do 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes here. Okay, body doesn't know the difference. Okay, if you're going to break the muscle down, you break the muscle down. Okay, if you're not, then you're not. So my favorite time to do the training is right after or within an hour of my ice bath, especially in the winter. I usually train 5 to 6 times a week, and remember, with training, consistency is what matters the most. Okay, so the number of people that I've had that would come in for their 2-week trial and then never come back was just unbelievable. Okay, and a lot of people will think that it's okay to skip workouts. Okay, it's not okay to skip workouts. It's never okay to skip workouts. So typically, I'm doing a 5-day training workout right now. So if I do need to, I can move the workout back a day, because I got those 2 off days that I can move the training to if I need to. So there's stuff that goes on, and but I don't skip the workout. Never skip your workout. So that just gets into your mindset that it's okay. And then it comes up, oh, I need to skip my workout. I don't feel good. I've got pain. I've got pain right now, a little inclination in my upper back. Didn't stop me from doing my workout today. And then I did a later conditioning workout. So didn't stop me. You work around your injuries. You work around if you've got energy problems, that's a mitochondrial issue, and we need to fix that. That's a leptin issue, and we need to fix that. Okay, but we should never be telling ourselves it's okay to skip this workout. It's okay to eat this piece of shit, and it's okay to do that every single day. It's just a little bit. Okay, all right. A little bit is what turns into a big thing later on. So it's consistency with everything in regards to your health. It's not It's not, I'm going to do it for a week, then I'm going to go off for 3 days, then I'm going to come back for a week. Okay, that just messes you up. Okay, you need to have the mindset of a healthy person. A healthy person is not going to engage in stupid shit that's going to make them sick later on down the life, or later on down in their life, and basically kill the older us. Okay, I'll be 44 in March, and that's a time when they say we're in our midlife crisis or we're on the decline. Okay, 2019, I got 98 new PRs, which is a personal record. 2020, I got 200. 2021, I've got 176. Okay, so I'm the strongest pound for pound I've ever been, and I am the oldest I have ever been. So again, don't shoot for average, shoot for the moon, because if you miss, at least you'll be among the stars. Les Brown right there. So again, don't skip your workouts. It's one of the best ways to build mental toughness, because as long as you keep challenging yourself and as long as you're doing progressive resistance, okay, progressive increases, it will always challenge you. Okay, the barbell will always win. It doesn't care who you are, whether you're male or female, boy or girl. It doesn't care about your skin color. It doesn't care about your religion, your creed, your beliefs, your dogma. Okay, if you can't lift a certain weight, it's gonna show you. Okay, but if you want to lift that weight, you just keep at it. You just keep at it. Keep at it. Okay, I finally hit a new PR in ring dips. Okay, I got 13 ring dips today. My previous PR was 12 that I hit back in 2020. Okay, just keep practicing, keep getting stronger, keep getting stronger. That's the way you build it up. Okay, again, 2 rules to strength training: begin and continue. All right, and then you just keep going, keep going. If you make excuses, that's going to take you out. That's going to lead you down a path where it's going to be a lot easier to say, I'm going to skip today. Okay, and then the next time comes up, I'm going to skip today. And then before you know it, you've skipped a week. Before you know it, you've skipped a month. Before you know it, you've gotten 10, 15 more pounds put on you. Okay, it's like, oh, I need to get back in, but I'm losing my energy. I have no energy. And why do you think that is? Because you're not engaged in the habits of health. Again, training for somebody who's left in resistance, not wise. I don't recommend it. However, once you fix that, okay, then we have to stay on these habits. Okay, these are the things that are going to make us great. Okay, just keep at it. Keep at it. Obviously, I'm training at my home gym, or I'm training outside. I trained outside yesterday. The light I use is from Cozy Health, blue light free. So it's a blue light free gym. If you are in the New Albany area, that is one of my big selling benefits. Okay, even if you don't think light is important, light is more important than your exercise. Light is more important than your food. Okay, so if you are training at a home gym, change your lights or turn them off. Okay, I always keep there's a window down in the basement. I always open that when I'm training. And yeah, so if you need help with anything in regards to changing your lights, I'm happy to come into wherever you are and tell you what you need and tell you what you need to do. But if you are going into a typical gym with blue lights and Wi-Fi and all that stuff, it's tough. You do need to wear blue blockers and you do need to cover your skin. I haven't worked out under blue light since September 2018. I remember it too. It was a nice gym, lots of good stuff. It was a YMCA in Indianapolis. But yeah, that was the last time, and it will be the last time, unless I get the chance to work out with Sly. Yeah.
And now a quick message from one of our sponsors.
34-day light challenge. Your light environment is more important than the food you eat and the exercise you do. The world needs more light gurus and less food ones. This path requires that you suspend the belief that to get healthy, all you have to do is change your diet and start exercising. This is a half-truth that is missing the other half. The other half is the reason why we are in the middle of multiple disease epidemics. The 34-day light challenge is not a nutrition or exercise challenge. This challenge will teach you all you need to know about the health habits in regards to light, natural and artificial, that will put you on your path to optimal. Mitochondria is our powerhouse of the cell, and if it goes bad, then it doesn't matter what you do in terms of nutrition, exercise, supplements, drugs, doctor visits, yada yada yada. Until you fix the mitochondria, your health will suffer. Think of it as an engine of your car. Do you get more scared when the service engine light comes on or the low fuel light comes on? You probably have seen the low fuel light many times before. Maybe you are one who actually ran out of gas. But when that engine light comes on, it's a big, uh-oh, what's wrong and how much is this going to cost me? When your engine breaks, the fuel you put in makes no difference at all. The 34-day light challenge is going to help you fix your engine. Register today at improvementwarriorfitness.com/light-challenge. Number 8, next up it's something I do multiple times per day and depending on the weather. So I've only been able to do this, which is grounding, 2 times today. Usually read, work out, or I'll sun gaze, or I'll play with my kids while being grounded. In the warmer months, I will typically set up my outdoor office and I'll just work outside all day. So grounding, earthing, one of the most important things for your health. So again, we're back to electrons. Life is all about electrons, protons, and photons, and moving those particles, subatomic particles, through our body in the most efficient way possible. So electron steal syndrome can be connected to all diseases. So grounding tips: when it is cold and snowy, the plantar pad, which is basically the heel of your foot, is the most conductive. It's got the most plugs in there. So your toes will get the coldest the fastest. So I put a sock on them. Sometimes I'll double up the sock. Sometimes I will wear 2 socks, and then I'll just the sock will just cover my toes. Also, shovel your grass for grounding space. So sometimes I'll be carrying a shovel over to my sunrise spot as well. What do people think of me? I really don't give a shit. Okay. Oh, there's a guy walking with a shovel. Where is he going? So I typically shovel 3 spaces. Actually, it's 4 spaces. I'll do a pre-sunrise spot around the side of my house. So the blue light, I'm not in the way of the blue light. Street light. A day spot, which is typically in the middle of the yard, and then a night spot next to my coal tub in the backyard. And then again, I will take a shovel and shovel snow off on my sunrise spot. But the earth always has free electrons. It wants to give you those free electrons. Okay? I forget the rule or the law of it, but basically whatever has more energy will give that energy to the thing of lesser energy. Us as humans always have less energy than the earth. If you lose too many electrons, you will get a disease if you keep it up and you don't replace those electrons. So man-made devices steal electrons. You need to get them back. You need to mitigate your non-native EMF use. I just finished the book, Earthing, the most important health discovery ever. The benefits go on, but just some of the major benefits, besides gaining electrons, you have inflammation reduction, stress reduction, blood flow and viscosity, reduced DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. So I always, after my workout, I try to get a grounding session in, even if it's at least 5 minutes, to help reduce that soreness. So better recovery and everything. You'll get better sleep, pain reduction and elimination, and on and on and on and on and on. Digestion is another big thing for grounding. So I've been attempting to ground after eating now, or I'm grounding while eating. So I did that today, actually. So I'm usually reading or doing a post on social media, or eating or drinking or something while grounding. I'm usually not just standing there. So today it was raining. So it was raining when I was out grounding for one of my sessions, and I was basically just listening to a podcast. It doesn't have to be, I'm just gonna, you just have to just stand there and do absolutely nothing. So multitask when you're grounding. Plus you're outside in the sun, and in the winter it's cold. So both cold and sun have major mitochondrial health benefits. Okay. And also I'm grounded inside as well. So I'm grounded making this podcast. My computer has the grounded cord plugged in. I have that grounded strap around my wrist, and I sleep with a metallic sock connected to a copper wire, and the copper rod is outside. It's very, very simple. If you cannot be healthy if you are not constantly adding electrons. So we get approximately 2/3 of our electrons from nature and only 1/3 from food. Excuse me. We're supposed to get 1/3, or we're supposed to get 2/3 from nature. Most people who live an indoor zoo animal life are not getting that, and that's why they turn to carbs 24/7, because it fast recycles ATP, which gives them a boost, a sense of energy, but in the long run, it's going to hurt you, especially if you're doing carbohydrates when they're not in season, and especially if those carbohydrates are processed food carbohydrates. Okay? That will basically just ruin you, because your mitochondria expects a certain food light imprint when you eat in the winter versus when you eat in the summer. And basically, somebody who's an indoor zoo animal has turned their home basically into a perpetual spring or summer, keeping their temperature between 69 and 72 or 73, whatever they keep the thermostat at, which is extremely bad for our health. So get outside. All right, number 9. Number 9 is food, or breakfast, or the first meal of the day. So literally breaking my intermittent fast. This one probably changes the most daily. Rarely will I eat 2 days in a row at the same time. Lots of factors come into play. When my workout will be, when my ice bath will be, are going to be the two biggest affecting when I will eat. In the winter, I'm much more prone to work out before sunrise. But now that it's mid-February and sunrise is around 7:20 now, that won't be happening much anymore soon. So I rarely wake before 6 a.m. As you can, and typically I eat only 2 meals a day. Winter, probably 2.5 on average, so it just depends. So they're not small meals, and the leptin reset is not a small meal. So I talk about the bro science and the 6 meals a day, and the previous podcast, which I haven't released yet, goes over my food log from 2013, where I ate basically 9 times a day. So just absolute stupidity and ridiculousness. And they're still preaching it in bodybuilding magazines and like men's and women's health and all that stuff. But that needs to stop. There should be never be more than 3 meals eaten per day. if you want to be the healthiest you. So it's not small meals. So typically right now in the winter, I'm eating anywhere between 26 to 3,100 calories per day. So yeah, you're supposed to eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. Unfortunately, most times I'm eating like a king for at least 2 meals. So I love to eat. Love it. Food is good, but also intermittent fasting and is good as well. So you got to have balance. Okay. All right, number 10, ice bath. Ice bath. So typically my cold bath it will depend when I get it done. So in the winter, I like to get it done early, as early as possible, if possible, because the water is cold. It's really cold. But today they gave me a break. Today is 42 degrees. And yesterday it was, I think, 38. But typically in the winter, it stays around between 28 to 32 degrees. And usually there's ice that I have to break into to get into the tub. So in the winter, I like to get it in as early as possible because that will give me the most time to recover. So there is a recovery process to it. And yeah, so there's a recovery process to it, but I'll link up some videos that I've done of my routine and some other cool thermogenesis stuff that I have done before. But I mean, the benefits far outweigh your fear of cold. And I always say, don't fear the cold. If you are getting cold all the time, that's an indication that something is wrong with your mitochondria. Our mitochondria is basically a hydrogen heat engine. It's supposed to heat you up when it feels cold, and it's supposed to cool you down when it feels hot, sweating and all that stuff. Yeah, so I don't like the cold. I much rather have it be 85 degrees and sunny and all that stuff. But I still do it because I feel amazing. And I actually feel better in the winter because I'm more on point with basically everything. And you've got to, since the sun is so weak. And yeah, so the cold, it will help you sleep better. It will help you recover. It will help you reverse the aging process, reverse the respiratory proteins. So the percent heteroplasmy rate that I've talked about in past episodes, that can actually be slowed down, stopped, or even reversed. And just depending on where you are in your life. But you don't have to start with a cold bath. You can start with a cold shower. You can start with a contrast shower, basically doing 30 to 60 seconds of cold as you can, hot as you can, cold as you can, hot as you can, and then always ending with cold. Or you can just do face dunks. That's one of the most important things, is because we have a mammalian dive reflex that should be activated. And the more you can get into actual water, the better it is for you. It's a natural Faraday cage. Faraday cage is basically you're protected from EMFs. Okay, so if you live near an ocean, live near a natural body of water, a lake, something like that, and you're not getting into that water, you're an idiot. Get into that water. Okay. Now with pools and stuff, chlorinated, never get into a brominated pool, but if that's all you got is a chlorine pool, then that's better than nothing. And you want to try and get your face under as much as you possibly can. And yeah, with the cold also, I mean, with cold thermogenesis, we're trying to induce thermogenesis. So we're trying to induce shivering. So we're trying to change our white adipose tissue, our white fat, to brown fat. So basically it becomes more efficient and more healthy. With the cold as well, for mindset, mental toughness training, there is nothing better than the cold, in my belief. It's the biggest battle of all the things on this list here. Cold is the one that I need to talk myself into the most, because every single day, pretty much every single day, especially when the water's a lot colder, that little voice inside of me tries to talk me out of it. But I typically win most of the battles, because typically I'm in the cold tub 20 to 25 times per month. So one thing that I have started doing with the cold tub is I've been doing a 3-on, 1-off kind of thing. So it's like that off day has been really helpful for my, because before I would pressure myself into trying to do it every day, and then if I didn't do it 4 or 5 times a week, then I'd feel bad, and that would hurt my self-esteem and confidence and whatnot. But having that off day there really helps. But helps with the mental toughness, helps with just keeping everything solid, knowing that I have to do this and do that and do everything really helps. I'll post up some cold thermogenesis stuff, but basically you can start in different ways. I have a horse trough from Tractor and Supply, and they are now making like cold tubs. I think Morosco has one, and then there's like Cold Plunge and all that, but they're expensive. So, but you can look at them. I'll hook them up and all that stuff. Okay, a couple more here, and I'm probably forgetting some things that I do throughout the day, but with nutrition, back to nutrition, obviously I try to get DHA every single day. I try to have one saturated fat meal and then one DHA meal. Dr. Cruz has talked about the meals. Actually, he's talked about DHA and saturated fat with the digestion interfering with each other. So that's why I try to separate the seafood meal with saturated fat meal. But I always try to get at least some DHA in per day. So today I had 2 salmon cakes that I made from yesterday. And yeah, so salmon, sardines, mackerel, shrimp. Got some calamari in the freezer now. Yeah, shellfish is the best. Oysters are the best food on the planet because they have the most DHA for you. And then I always try to cook dinner before sunset. So this obviously changes a lot since November, when they changed the clock back. Sunset happens at like 5:05 p.m. So we got to finish eating by 5 o'clock. Now, sometimes with family, that is an issue. So typically, sometimes my wife won't get the kids until after 5 o'clock. So if that happens, I basically eat before 5 o'clock, and then I will sit down with the family and basically have a cup of tea or a cup of water and just sit down. So you don't need to be eating, okay, if it's going to interfere with your optimal journey. And the more sick you are, the more diseased you are, the more you would have to follow certain rules, especially around circadian biology, circadian nutrition, all that stuff. Number 11, meditation or yoga or breathing. practice. I try to get this in. Typically, it's only 10 times per month I do this, but there's another thing that I do typically in the morning. I haven't done it today, so it's my Boss Rutin O2 trainer. So in the webinar, the breath webinar I covered, there was a study that showed the greatest aspect of longevity is lung capacity. So this thing helps you improve your lung capacity, and basically you just put it in. And you're just breathing in, breathing out. So when you're breathing in, it's got little holes and it's got different nodules that you put on, and it will make it a lot harder to breathe in. So you're basically having to make the lungs work a lot harder. So it's basically a workout for your lungs. And I'll typically do 26 breaths in the morning. I still haven't done it today because it was raining. Damn rain throws me off so much. Okay, but with meditation, typically I try to get it as many times as I can. Unfortunately, it's not one of the things that, let's just say, I used to do it pretty much every day, but I'm trying to get back into it. I am being more successful in the past month and a half, I would say. But my meditations typically will be a box breathing. So there's an app called Pranayama, which basically you can program the breath that you want to do. You can program how long you want to breathe in, how long you want to hold, how long you want to breathe out, how long you want to hold. So I'll do that, listening to that. I also have another app that has just a bunch of nature sounds, and I'll just sit and listen to that. Sometimes I'll do yoga, and sometimes I'll do the Wim Hof breathing as well. So it's good stuff there. Meditation, obviously, you need to quiet your mind. You need to not have all the noise around you. Dr. Cruz says it's better to meditate at night time, but get it in whenever you can get it in. Okay. All right, and then the last thing, which is number 12, which is something I restarted. So it's fiction reading before bed. And this is something because they say that reading nonfiction, so reading like business books and stuff like that, will stimulate the mind before bed. And I highly agree with that. So when I first started this journey, I was reading Dr. Cruz's blogs before bed, and that would just it would basically, because it's hard for me to gather stuff in and process things. So I read very slowly and all that stuff. And then with the stimulation of the mind, I just couldn't do it anymore. And if you're reading like business books and like how-to and to-do lists and all this stuff, you might get hit with like, oh, I should do that. Oh, I should do this. I should do that. Oh, this made me think of this and think of that. That's not something that we want before bedtime. So, yeah, so I've just started. Tom Clancy was the author I read as a kid growing up. So Hunt for October, Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, read all those. And so that was what I picked back up. I read The Bear and the Dragon, just finished it a couple weeks ago. Started with the Bosch book. My wife got me a couple Bosch novels. So it doesn't stimulate the mind as much, and I can fall asleep a lot easier. But always read a physical book. Don't read on an iPad. Don't read on your phone. And especially don't be using it off of airplane mode and all that stuff. So, yeah. But that's pretty much it. Again, I'm sure I'm missing some things, so I didn't talk about the phone and my behaviors on the phone. I'll probably do an entire podcast on that because with my Android, when they made a certain software update, you can't You can't do you would be able to hold down the home button and say open Audible. Now you can't do that. Or it said open driving directions. Okay, you can't do that anymore. You need to turn on location. You need to open the app. So it's kind of annoying, but yeah, the phone companies know what they're doing, and they don't want you on airplane mode. So they want you basically using the data, absorbing that blue light, and basically becoming a brainwashed zombie, which is not what we want to do. We don't want to fall into their trap. So that's why you listen to the Improvement Warrior podcast and the other podcasts I recommend and all that stuff. But that's all I have for this episode 18 in the books. Thank you very much for watching or listening. Again, don't forget to check out the sponsors of the show coming up here, and please rate the podcast and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And follow me on social media, subscribe to the Improvement Warrior newsletter. All the links will be in the show notes, which is improvementwarriorfitness.com/healthy habits. But otherwise, let's conquer everything. So whatever day it is, whatever year it is, whatever month it is, conquer the day. Do not let that little voice talk you out of the stuff that you know that you need to do. People need the best version of you. They need to have something to pull them out. You need to have something to pull you out. You need to have that inner drive. Okay? Motivation sucks. It wanes all the time. Okay? When it rains, what are you going to do? Okay? When it snows, what are you going to do? Stay inside? No, we can't do that. We can't do that. Our mitochondria is too important. It's all about improving that mitochondria, improving our health, improving our brain health, improving our heart health, making everything better so we can make the people around us better. Okay? Well, thank you very much. This is Jason Yun, out for Improvement Warrior Podcast. Stay strong, stay positive, be the improvement. We are always looking for ratings for the podcast. It helps my podcast be found by others looking to improve their life and health, as well as it helps us get ranked higher. So please help us out so that I may continue bringing this life-changing podcast to you and others around the world. Just go to the leave a review section of your favorite podcast listening app and let us know what you think. 5 stars is preferred, but please be honest. Thank you in advance. Got workouts? I do. I believe everybody should have their own home gym because working out under blue light and Wi-Fi can be detrimental to your health. My online workout program, LBN Online Strength and Fitness Workouts, makes working out from home a cinch. Or you can even take the workouts anywhere you go in the world. With over 300 follow-along workouts with me in 15 different workout genres from pre-beginner all the way to advanced, working out at home has never been easier. I show you how to do each exercise, the equipment needed for each workout, and ways to make it easier, harder, or work around an injury. Check it out today at lbnonlinefitness.com and start your free trial today.